everybody. How you doing? It's so nice to see you. Happy Tuesday. I'm sorry I'm a little behind on videos. I have filmed Pinocchio, the review for Pinocchio. I've also written out my review for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I've been having really bad dreams. I had so many bad dreams last night. I had like 4 different bad dreams. Like I would wake myself up and then I'd be like, whew, that was horrible. Let's go back to sleep and see if we can get a good rest. And then I'd have another bad dream and I'd wake myself up and I'd be like, that was even worse than the last one. So I did not have a good night. Let me say hi to everybody here. Angela. Oh, hi, Angela. It's always so nice to see you. Hi to your brother. Let's see here. Zoltan, thank you for joining. Let's see. I think that's everybody who just joined. If you joined during a live stream, I'll give you a shout out immediately. You guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Oh, Thomas, I'm sorry you and your son Justin are sick. I'm glad I can keep you company a little bit here. So we have some really good stories to go over today. As you can see, it's dark and rainy here in New York City. Oh, Argo, both of us are having bad dreams. That's not good. Thank you, Jewel. Hi, Dev I am. So the way this works is that we're going to do the 3 stories. Please try to keep your comments to whatever we're discussing, because at the end of the stream, we'll have 10 minutes where you can ask me anything that you would like. And so I want to try and stay on topic as much as possible. Trisha, Wednesday's so good. Hey, Mr. Poppy. Wednesday did really, really well. Wednesday's continuing to be a huge hit. Where is the season 2 announcement? All right, so let's get started here. Hold on. All right, we've got a lot to go over. All right, hold on. Story number 1. Boop. Poor Dwayne Johnson. I told you, almost everybody who joins the DCEU lives to regret it. And I didn't think it would happen that fast to Dwayne Johnson, but it really sure did, boy. Wow. Now he's stuck. He's stuck here. It's really difficult. And so I tweeted last night, somebody sent me a very funny meme about, how DC fans are quite loud and active online, which makes them seem like they're a lot bigger than they are, but yet they never show up for these movies. We've had so many disappointments at the box office at this point. I know that there are bright spots, but, Birds of Prey, now Black Adam, the Shazam. Black Adam, actually, you're about to see perform very similar to Shazam. So I think that it's just, again, it's a fractured audience. It's not as loyal as you would hope. Although, Marvel, it's not exactly all posies and rainbows over there either. I mean, I know that some people are very upset with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever because they didn't recast T'Challa, and I understand that. But, there's a huge discrepancy in terms of what these 2 movies brought in, even though they cost about the same amount to make. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is over 700 million globally. Is that lower than Disney would like? Of course it is. But it's not the 387 million, as you can see, that Black Adam has. I mean, that's half. That's half. And that's just really bad. So let's talk about what's going on here. All right. And I think it's funny. I've been telling you Black Adam was a flop for, and that's the thing. Also, everybody has such a short memory. Pepperidge Farm remembers. People are like, oh, we didn't like Black Adam and we never said we were going to support it. And you're like, you guys were aggressively supporting Black Adam right before the movie came out. You were saying it was the best thing since sliced bread. Max says both The Rock and The Rock of Eternity are flops, apparently. CW content indeed. Yeah, it's not good. Hey, Anton, thank you. And also the other thing I want to point out to you is that I do feel that this is really bad for Henry Cavill that the film underperformed so much. T.J. Williams, it did worse than Hobbs and Shaw. I thought Hobbs and Shaw would mean it would be somewhere in the 600 million range. But it didn't even manage to match that. If it had done that, it would, I think, been okay. I think, you can use the pandemic as an excuse, but, that's why the Batman only made around the 700 million range, when hopefully it should have done better. Trisha says, call it flop at. I think that's a little mean, Trisha, but I see certainly where you're coming from. But, here's the thing. By getting the Henry Cavill cameo in Black Adam, Dwayne Johnson saved his reputation. That would have haunted him forever. But in the process, he ended up hurting Henry Cavill because that was supposed to save the movie. That's why Dwayne Johnson was using it to promote the film. Dwayne Johnson would go around saying, hey, stick around for our super cameo. They were really making a big deal about it. They were making a bigger deal about Henry Cavill being in the movie than the movie itself. So the fact that that didn't sell tickets, I think, is alarming. iReady says, I hope Dwayne Johnson learns to be more respectful to source materials because he's playing The Rock with powers in Black Adam. I think that's true. Max says, The Rock's positivity is endearing but so delusional. I'll speak to that. Hey, Argo. So I think that the cameo really hurts the idea that Alex says, did enough of the general population know that Henry Cavill was in the movie? Yes, for sure. Everybody knew. It was the ad campaign. Everybody knew that Henry Cavill was in that movie. So I think that this, Michael, it's very kind to gift 5 memberships. And Wellen says, what were The Rock's mistakes with Black Adam and DC fans, and how much will Henry Cavill suffer from this? Does any part of the blame for Black Adam's failure fall on the old regime? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so at all. I think that it points to how much longevity, how viable, that's the right word, how viable what they currently have truly is. This is all information that James Gunn and Peter Safran, I'm sure, are taking in when they decide what to do moving forward. They have to make a decision. Are they going to start from scratch, which I would highly advise, from the Batman, keeping the Robert Pattinson stuff in there, or are they going to try and salvage some of this stuff? And I think this is just a really good warning sign that maybe it's unsalvageable, or there just isn't enough good stuff there to be worth the downside. Steven says they should hard reboot the main universe. Fox X-Men tried the soft reboot and they suffered for it after Days of Future Past. That's a good point. I agree convolution is the enemy of franchises. Let's see here. Raphael says, I still think the movie did not do well because The Rock wanted to make a Dwayne Johnson the Super Rock movie instead of a real DC movie. Well, also, he didn't have any big name characters in there. And James Gunn has gone around saying that he really has an affinity for the smaller characters. And I think that hopefully he sees that that's maybe not the way to go, and that the smaller characters just aren't going to connect. I'm very nervous about Blue Beetle. I think that, the test screenings say Blue Beetle is not bad, but I've heard Blue Beetle is extremely close to Shazam. It's like the Latino version of Shazam. It's a family movie. It's for kids. And I think that while there might be an audience for that, it's probably about this size, to be honest with you. Elon says, I thank The Rock for Black Adam, but I am ready to move on and forward with James Gunn's plans. And Trisha says, didn't Jungle Cruise do better than this? I don't remember Jungle Cruise off the top of my head, Trisha. I've only brought up DC numbers here. Hey, Joey. Hey, Rodriguez. Hey, Carlos. So I think that, there's a little bit of a problem here. So The Rock, Black Adam, the movie, has made $387 million after 7 weeks. It's not going to get to $400 million even. Variety finally agreed. Hey, Mark. Variety finally agreed that and published an article, which is why we're talking about this today. So, once it's in the trades, it's like a reality that can't be ignored. So they said, that it needed $600 million to turn a profit. Warner Brothers is insisting it could turn a profit at 400 to 450, when you factor in streaming and down the line and stuff. And it has done very well on iTunes. It's been number 1 2 weeks in a row. Josh says, any DC movies in 2023 making over $500 million worldwide? Well, The Flash is testing really well, but I don't know. We'll talk about The Flash for the second story. Jazz says, I know about 10 people who decided not to watch Black Adam when they heard Henry Cavill was there for only 5 seconds in the movie. Well, that was a decision, and I think that I don't think that Warner Brothers is going to take from that what you wanted them to. Trisha says, I think more than ever that the only way movies will make a lot of money is if the movie is amazing. And then Chicken Beach says, I really hate the death as comedy thing that was on full display in Black Adam and Suicide Squad. It's empathy poison. I'd wager it hurts ticket sales. Chicken Beach, which is a funny name, and I like your avatar. I think that the darkness, you have to be careful. Batman is a dark character, but he's always very optimistic. He feels he can change Gotham for the better. He won't give up on it. He's a proud papa to many Robins. He loves Alfred like he was his dad. But I think that and that's why I worry a little bit about James Gunn from a tonal perspective. I think that the darker, edgier tone of Black Adam, of the Suicide Squad, is not as big a net for, for a blockbuster. And then I think it limits the appeal. Everyone can see a Marvel movie. And the question is, can they? Joker did very well. Venom, I think a lot of kids did go to Venom. The first Venom was successful. The second Venom, I think might have really hurt the franchise. We'll see how the third does. But Joker, I think, was a very special situation. Joker was like a cultural phenomenon, and then it, commented on society. So I think so there's that issue. But I think, also there's the issue that Dwayne Johnson continually insists that this is still a hit. And maybe that's what's propelling it on iTunes. He's like, it's a big movie. It's a big movie, everybody. And everyone else is like, is it though? But I think as long as Dwayne Johnson insists that it is, some people always believe so and fight for it. And that's the real problem that DC has. And that's that they have these online fans are very loud, and they make themselves seem like they're a bigger group than they are. And they're misleading the talent in front of and behind the camera at Warner Brothers. And they're leading them down a very niche path. And I think that's really a problem. So I think that is a real issue going forward. Now let's look at the box office. I'm going to cover myself up here a little bit. All right, so as you can see, these are the DCEU movies. So Batman and the Joker, which are not DCEU movies, don't factor in on this list. But this is the franchise. So this is what James Gunn has to decide if he wants to save this or not. And as you can see, it's definitely diminishing returns. Now, of course, the pandemic is a factor here, but is it that big of a factor? Other movies are able to do still somewhat better. But I mean, look at Black Adam there. It's just about 20 million ahead of Shazam. Hey, Amparo. Trisha says, is Blue Beetle like Spider-Man Homecoming? But it doesn't star a big... No, it's not, because I heard Blue Beetle is extremely family-focused. Will says, I skipped it in theaters because you suggested it would mean DCEU would continue. I want them to start over. Well, then you made the right call, Will, because I think that definitely sends this message. And Tovi, who knows what Aquaman's box office will be? I think at that point... I think people are very quickly losing interest in the DCEU. And so that means that when every movie comes out, people are like, do I really need to see this in theaters? Because, it's probably not going to go anywhere. So I think that's a real issue. The Snyder movies are still the most successful, I think because they had very good action and very good visuals. And so I think people were really into that, although they were diminishing too by the time... Well, I think, tone was an issue. And so they made a mistake and decided to go with Joss Whedon in a very rare instance of a director redoing someone else's film. That never happens. That's what makes the Snyder Cut so special. But the Black, look at, look at DC's bad versus Marvel's bad. They're like, oh no, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to struggle to get to 800 million. But DC would kill for that. They only have 3 movies that have been able to do that. 3. And not one of them has come out since 2018. So I think that's really a problem. That's a huge problem for them. So Black Adam is just really a bad underperformer. It couldn't even match Justice League. That's just really, really bad. That's awful. So I think when you see these numbers, Wonder Woman 1984, Lijo, you have to remember that was the beginning of the pandemic, and they put that day and date on HBO Max. So for the 2 lowest movies, you do have to factor that in. Let's see here. Let me answer some of these questions. Trisha says, do you like Marvel still has a very high ground on DC? I don't think DC will ever come close to Marvel personally. Well, I think James Gunn is right to have a unified front where everybody's supposed to be on the same page. Let's see if that helps. But I think the most crucial decision he's going to have to make is to whether or not he's going to keep Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, and Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot tweeted today. I think she's just campaigning, just like Henry Cavill was. I think they're both awfully nervous about what James Gunn is going to decide. So they're both trying to be like, look how popular we are. And I don't think that worked out for Henry Cavill. And I really honestly don't know how much it's going to work out for Gal Gadot, to be honest with you. Sam Shugart says they want to continue the DCEU with no bad characters other than Harley. That doesn't sit right with me. Just introduce Pattinson's world with powers. I would agree with that, Sam. I don't even need Harley Quinn. Margot Robbie had a good run, but I think she's done. Although James Gunn is very close with her, so I don't know if he'd be willing to do that. Let's see here. Luxor says, why are they blaming the DC fans? Maybe they're the only ones showing up to support these movies. Well, I don't think that's true, Luxor, because these numbers are so low that if you were a normal sized fan base operating as you were supposed to, you would be doing better. You would be doing Star Wars and Marvel level in terms of your numbers. Max Beck says, do you think a lack of female appeal affected it? Cyclone sidelined and Isis not given much to do except worry about her son. Maybe. I think it was the lack of recognizable characters, to be honest with you. And that it just seemed like another Dwayne Johnson movie, as many people said, including myself. Alawatch says, will Black Adam be in your worst movies list, although it wasn't that bad but failed at the box office? I got to take a look, Alawatch, at the movies for the year. But yeah, I really feel I think James Gunn should just cut the cord. Even from his own stuff. I really honestly feel he should start from scratch. I really do. CH says, does this mean that Jason Momoa is a bigger box office draw than Dwayne Johnson? Oh, by the way, they were teasing a Jason Momoa Lobo movie, maybe? I think that would be a horrible mistake. I think you'd have box office very similar to this, quite frankly. Let's see. I'd have to see how it looks, but I don't think anybody wants to see that. Travis T says, Harley has been overexposed and needs a break. Also, they're turning her into a member of the Bat family, which I know a number of people, including myself, we don't know how we feel about that. I think Harley as an anti-hero is fine, but Harley as a straight out hero, I don't know how I feel about that. Brett Crandall says, just start casting from the Batman. Is Black Adam left over from Jeff Johns' leadership, or are we clear of that by now? No, I think Black Adam was definitely influenced by that. Thank you, Brett. That's very kind of you. I think for sure. And then Max Beck says, we need The Rock in charge of Strange Worlds PR. I think The Rock better watch it. I think he's going to ruin his I think people are not going to, he has a really good brand, The Rock. But if he seems like he's out of touch with reality, I think that's going to hurt him. And so he really better be careful on that. I can understand he doesn't want to say it didn't do well, but maybe he should just stop talking about it. Whelm says, if they rebooted, then something's got to give with the action in Reeves films because the Batman action was extremely underwhelming. Well, what about the Batmobile chase? That was incredible. But let's see. And then Trisha said, Kevin Feige it's like I'm still miles ahead of the competition. And Manuel Soto says, could it be that Kevin Feige has the whole but tiresome save the world plots that moviegoers can only stomach MCU and district? No, I don't think that's true, Manuel, because look at how well the Batman did. Good morning, Zach. Look how well the Batman did. The Batman did extremely well. So I still feel that that's going to... Oh, CH gifted another 5 memberships. That's so kind. So I think that there's still interest there, particularly in Batman. Batman felt like a comic book, which was really exciting. And I wish that more DC movies felt like the comic books that they're based on. So I think that there is a path forward, but I think that until they just completely get rid of this and just have a fresh start. And I think that's one of the reasons people liked the Batman, that was a fresh start. I think that they're going to have an issue. They're going to have an issue. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Hold on. James Gunn is supposed to give his view of how he wants to continue with DC pretty soon. He said 2 months, so it'll be maybe I would expect maybe right after New Year's or right before New Year's. So and that should leak. It should leak. I know a number of sources who actually are in that space. So Miguel says maybe him being disconnected from reality is an asset. No, I think it's you gotta if you're gonna produce your own stuff, you gotta be able to take a hard look in the mirror. All right, so that's the first story of the day. The second story of the day, boop. So yesterday, The Flash got moved. Its release date got moved back 1 week. And so it got moved from June 23rd in 2023 to June 16th in 2023. Alessio says, with Disney Pixar's Elemental now opening same day as The Flash, should they delay it by a week? Well, this is an interesting situation. And H. Conte says, what are the chances that Shazam 2 outgrosses Black? I think Shazam 2 is going to not do particularly well, to be honest with you. I'm sorry to say. I don't see that movie doing particularly well. I think really people are just tired of this. And there's just too many other things to watch and do that I just don't think it's worth people's investment of time. So Trisha says, will this be fixed by 2024 when Discovery sells Warner Brothers? I don't know, Trisha. They can only start to try and sell Warner Brothers. I think it's going to be tough. All right, so we're talking about The Flash. All right, so The Flash comes out now a week earlier. Now, you're talking about Elemental, that's the same weekend. I don't think Elemental is going to do particularly well. But the real issue here is Max Rolo. I'm glad you're a Gal Gadot fan. So anyway, the real issue here is premium screens, which I saw a few pundits tweet about yesterday when this news first went out, and I agree with that. So everybody wants the IMAX and Dolby screens, and ideally you'd like to have them for more than just a week, but sometimes in the summer, a week is all you get. Because when you look at this lineup, you can see that they're going to be going fast and furiously. Hey, Rolando. I hope you're having a great time in Hawaii. That's fantastic. Yes, very sad about Kirstie Alley. I mean, she had some very, let's say, distinct political opinions, but still it's very tragic for her passing. We mourn the loss of anybody. It's always sad to lose a life. So anyway, The Flash, and this is June right now for 2023. So June 2nd, Across the Spider-Verse comes out. So that's going to kick off the month. Then just 1 week later, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. Now, the week after that, Elemental and The Flash. I think The Flash, Disney is very aggressive, but we'll see who gets the premium screens. I would think Warner Brothers must feel they can get them if they moved the film to that date. I wouldn't be surprised if Elemental goes to Disney+. It just looks like that kind of movie to me. CO Gaming says, hey Grace, I'm currently working on Amazon and in my Amazon van. Had to pull over to watch your stream. Hello! Do you honestly think James is going to make everything all right in DC? I don't know, CO Gaming. I'm not sure. I got to tell you, I got to hear what his plan is. I don't think it's impossible. And I think there's a chance. That's all I think. And that's pretty good. I think there's a chance, but let's see what he decides to do. I think we're going to know pretty fast if they're on the right path. Well, I don't know if we're going to know if they're on the right path or not, but I think we're going to know pretty fast if they're on the wrong path. We'll be like, nope, that's a bad idea. So let's see. Hey, Anthony. Then June 23rd now has no movies coming out. So I think the idea is that The Flash will be able to be on premium screens for 2 weeks before Indiana Jones hits theaters June 30th. But I got to tell you, based on the reception of that trailer, I don't actually have high hopes for Indiana Jones 5. What do you guys think? I think that, I don't know why Lucasfilm wants everyone to hate Phoebe Waller-Bridge, but I got a bad vibe from the trailer where I was like, I don't know about this. And I really like Phoebe Waller-Bridge outside of her Lucasfilm project, so that makes me quite sad. Jazz says, streaming has made us lazy in the pandemic. Now, unless the movie is a spectacle, it's not going to perform well. Well, let's see how Avatar does. Alawatch says, will his plan already be greenlit, straight to film? Well, they hired him because they like him. So I'd be surprised if David Zaslav said no. Let's see here. Carlos says, Grace, which Justice League members are rumored to appear in The Flash? Well, I know Wonder Woman's appearing in Shazam. But let's see. I know Henry Cavill's now in The Flash, but I don't know if it's going to help that anymore, right? They're like, let's sprinkle Henry Cavill on everything since you guys apparently love him so much. And they're like, uh-oh. And then Will says, who deserves the blame for ruining the Pixar brand? I think it's partially Pixar. I think the quality of the films just isn't quite there. I think they're not at the level that they used to be, which is why Puss in Boots is so good. And then Sean Turner says, it's DC's problem, simply the amount of baggage. Partially, I think there's overexposure in the whole comic book space that even Marvel is suffering from right now. So I think that if some Marvel projects can't even compete with superhero fatigue, how can DC? And I think The Boys has slipped in there and taken DC's spot to a degree. I think people if they want their darker superheroes, they just get it from The Boys. David C., is there any way for James Gunn to revive Batgirl? No, because they won't be able to get the tax write-off then, and the IRS will come a-calling. So that's not going to happen. And then Bobby says, are we ever going to get anything from J.J. Abrams regarding DC? Nope, I think he's out. I think I wouldn't be surprised if he soon leaves Warner Brothers. They're upset that he never really delivered for the $500 million they gave him. And I think that's a reasonable thing to be upset about. Bye, CO Gaming. Trisha says, I think Transformers could be huge, and also Indiana Jones, especially overseas. Okay, I'll go through this. Across the Spider-Verse, let's see the new trailer, but I think Across the Spider-Verse will do moderately well. I'm not sure. I don't think it's going to be huge, but I think it might be in the 600 million range. I think it'll definitely perform better than the first film. Transformers. I think Transformers could be really big. I think especially overseas. Agreed. I thought the trailer looked surprisingly good. The Flash. Oh, let's see. I think Ezra Miller is a real wild card. And I think it's still too early to tell how that's going to go down. So I'm not quite sure how The Flash is going to do. Elemental, I wouldn't be surprised if that goes to, I think they're probably going to do it in Encanto, where people will know it's going to go on Disney Plus like within a month. So I think that that's going to do the best. I think that's where it will do the best, and I don't think it's going to particularly hit in theaters. And then I don't think Indiana Jones is probably. I think Indiana Jones could be a new Lightyear, quite frankly. That's how much I think it could not work out. David says 600 for an animated movie is good. Well, it's not 600 million for a Disney or Pixar movie isn't good, but for that kind of movie, yes, that would be considered fine. But yeah, I really do think that Indiana Jones might be a new Lightyear, and I'm very concerned about it. So let's see. But we'll do a poll. So what are you the most excited for in June? I can only do okay. What weekend are you the most excited for in June 2023? So we have Across the Spider-Verse, new trailer next Tuesday. We have Across the Spider-Verse, Transformers, Rise of the Beasts. Hey, Fred. We have The Flash and Elemental. So Flash gets a little bit of a boost there. And then I get one more option, and that's Indiana Jones 5. Or The Dial of Destiny, which I refuse to say. All right, there you go. There's the poll. If you want to vote in the poll, you just click in the blue thing on the top there. Oh, I'm impressed that so many of you are interested in Indiana Jones. Then why didn't you watch the trailer? Hey, Bobby K. Did I miss any comments while I was typing? Let's see here. I don't believe so. Nope. Okay. Oh, look at Across the Spider-Verse go. Oh, a lot of votes. When we get to 1,000, I will end the poll. Boy, Across the Spider-Verse just completely decimated all the other movies. That's ridiculous. Wow. Indiana Jones is last, so I'm telling you guys. Let's see here. The Avatar 2 embargo lifts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But a lot of the screenings are actually after that. So you'll be getting reactions to Avatar all night. Oh, we're almost at 1,000 votes. I will see. I'll see. I cover them. But I mean, as a fan, I would see all these movies. Obviously. We're almost there. Brett, Spider-Verse is not going to be able to keep the premium screen. So I highly recommend that if you want to see Across the Spider-Verse on a premium screen, okay, we're done. You see that opening weekend. All right, so Across the Spider-Verse decimated everything else, followed by The Flash and Elemental. Indiana Jones got a last-minute surge to beat Transformers by just 1 point. That's interesting. Well, we'll see. It could be a very interesting month. Certainly a lot of older franchises trying to see if they can come back. But I think that, it's unfortunate that Warner Brothers decided to spread out these movies because they can't afford to advertise the films and also to buy themselves a little bit of time, but keep DC in the public eye. But maybe was that a good idea? When I say that, Juan Carlos says Indiana Jones is for me and my parents. Well, yeah, my family's going to see it for sure. Lord Baratheon says, how well do you think Across the Spider-Verse will do? As I said, I think it'll maybe do around 600 million. Raphael says the Batman was amazing, but taking TV shows out of it, like they changed Marvel format. Okay. DC should build more than that. And then Tricia says Indiana Jones would be perfect for 4th of July. Yeah, it would have. Yeah, and it does come out right there for the 4th of July holiday. So we'll see how it does. We'll see. I mean, let's see what the reviews are like. And if he does pass the fedora to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I think that the movie will be DOA. Just because I think, not anything against Phoebe Waller-Bridge or female-led movies. As you know, I'm a big fan of that, but I just don't think that's what anybody wants to see there. So we'll see. Bye, Moro. So you guys distracted me. What was I talking about there? Oh, yes. So with DC, I feel like DC should have just ended it. They should have released these movies the way they were planning to and just gotten it over with, like ripping off a Band-Aid. But now it's going to die such a slow death that I think that's going to leave a lasting impression in people's mind. And I think that's not good for the brand. So I think that's nervous. That makes me nervous. All right, so the third story of the day. Hold on. Third story of the day. Boom, baby. All right, so, hey, Stanlos. Winter. Oh, hey, Winter says, to be honest, I'm worried about superhero movies. I think interest by the general public is declining, who are just as important as fans for box office success. Couldn't have said it better myself, Winter. Couldn't agree more. I think the superhero genre is headed for a reckoning, and they're going to have to significantly, par down how many they make a year. It's just too much, even for one franchise. I think even Marvel, I think Marvel squeezed everybody else out of the space, and now even they are having a little bit of a problem. All right, so Ghostbusters. Talk about other properties. So Ghostbusters, as you know, the last movie did pretty good. It did pretty good, Ghostbusters. So they were making a sequel. They teased it at the end of the last entry. They got everybody excited that they were going to go back to New York and to the firehouse. And so some new details emerged, which make me a little nervous about this movie. And I would love for Ghostbusters to be able to be competitive in the space, but I don't know if it is with these changes. So Jason Reitman, took the baton from his father, Ivan Reitman, who did the first iconic film, and he directed the last movie. I think he did a moderate job. In fact, I thought he was the weakest link in the last movie. But, he got to do his dad proud. And then tragically, Ivan Reitman passed away shortly after that film was released. So that's very sad. But at least Jason Reitman got that experience and that opportunity to work with his father in that way. And maybe it's too hard for him to continue, because he's not continuing. He is going to continue as a producer and a co-writer, but now he passes the baton to his co-writer on Ghostbusters Afterlife, Mr. Gil Kenan. What a bad choice this is. Hi, Danielle. I rewatched the first Indiana Jones last month, and it was so cringy. What? Danielle, I can't believe that's your takeaway. Really? Maybe Temple of Doom, but Raiders? I respect your opinion, but I'm surprised by that. I love Indiana Jones. All right. Raiders, Wesley also, I think Raiders really holds up. The only one I don't like is Temple of Doom. I like Raiders and I like Last Crusade. You guys are crazy. I agree with Haunted Autumn, Danielle. Don't give up. You got to watch Last Crusade. It's really, really good. Steve Music, Temple of Doom is also my mother's favorite. So, I think they're great movies. All right, but again, Danielle, I respect where you're coming from, and many others might agree with you, which could affect Indiana Jones's box office. So we'll see. All right, so Gil Kenan is now taking over as director. Now, you might be familiar with Gil Kenan, who first got his big break writing and directing the animated movie Monster House. Then he jumped to live action with City of Ember. And then he did the new Poltergeist remake, which was not particularly well received. Stanlow says, I think DC should re-energize superhero genre, could re-energize the superhero genre, provided that they go from an iconic non-52 starting point. I don't know. I don't think DC Comics has ever recovered from them doing that. I think DC Comics has never recovered from rebooting. Alawatch says, what's your favorite movie set in New York City? What do you mean, Alawatch? And that's not even what we're talking about. I guess Ghostbusters, because that's what we're talking about. All right, let's try and stay on point. And then you can ask me anything you want for the final 10 minutes of the stream. So Gil Kenan does a lot of family movies. And so I am happy they're returning to the New York City firehouse. That makes me very excited. But then when they talked about the fact that Gil Kenan was taking over, they said for this 2023 movie, it's going to continue to focus on the Spengler family. I don't know how I feel about that. McKenna Grace was wonderful. She did a wonderful job as Egon Spengler's granddaughter. And I liked Paul Rudd and Carrie Coon as well. But I really don't want Ghostbusters to become a family franchise. I think that would not be good. That would make me, I enjoyed the brief nostalgia trip, and that was like a little fun little side thing. And they kind of allowed the movie to kind of refresh itself, the franchise. But now I want to go back to being a little bit more of the edgier adult franchise that it started out as. So that's a concern for me. And I'm surprised that Sony, it makes me feel like Sony still doesn't understand the franchise. because I think that I would be very nervous about how this would perform. But I mean, let's see. These child actors grow up very quickly, so maybe they'll be like teenagers and young adults by the time we get to it, and let's just see how much they're involved. But yeah, I mean, we're done with Gozer. I think we're good. I would love to find a way to bring Rick Moranis back. I agree, and a little bit more with Sigourney Weaver. But I don't know. Bill Murray's run into some trouble. I don't even know if you can bring him back. And again, I think that they proved that they can maybe go forward with the cast that they have. I still like my idea of a Ghostbusters convention with Ghostbusters from all over the world. But I think a family Ghostbusters is like the complete opposite of that. And so it's not at all what I want. What do you guys think? Master Word says, it's still strange for me to treat Ghostbusters as a franchise. The first was a screwball comedy. That's a really funny point. But I think that, you can certainly see a path forward for it, but it's tricky. You need really, that's the problem. Hollywood these days picks a release date and they just lock eyes with it. And they like play chicken with that release date rather than being like, do we have a really good script? Do we have a really good director and writer who understand the material and are excited about it? Do we have the right actor? And I think there's less and less of that happening in Hollywood these days, which makes me sad because that's what makes movies special. That's how movies work. You have to really make an effort. And I think now it's all about the formula. And Hollywood's always relied a little bit on the formula. That's fine because they're so risk averse. But now they're so formula centric that I think that it's really hurting them. Jeremiah says, it seems all studios are very out of touch right now. No sequel has been a slam dunk. I feel like I thought The Batman was amazing. There must have been some slam dunks. I just can't think of them off the top of my head. And Puss in Boots is a slam dunk. I'm telling you, man. Buy your tickets now before you can't get them. It was amazing. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. Hold on, what time is it? It is 4:54. You may ask me anything you would like until 5:04. 5:04. Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, huge slam dunk. Totally agree on that. Love Top Gun Maverick. Britt says, have you seen Margot saying she's been for Poison Ivy for years? Thoughts? Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I didn't see it happen. And she passed. We know for a fact that she turned down doing Gotham City Sirens, which she admitted. That's not even a rumor. She said, do you want to do Gotham City Sirens or do you want to do Birds of Prey? And she said Birds of Prey, which shouldn't even have been a choice, but that's what she picked. So I don't want to hear this Poison Ivy stuff. I feel she's just doing it to, with all due respect to Margot Robbie, I think she's a very good actress. But I feel like she's just saying that so that nobody gets upset with her. It's Colton says, thoughts on this season of White Lotus? Have you decided whether or not you're going to review or break it down? I'm not going to review it. Maybe I'll talk about it on a live stream. It still doesn't have the audience for a review. But I really, really am enjoying it, and I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in the final episode. I think White Lotus really was more of a slower burn this season, whereas last season was hot out of the gate, but it's really gotten good. It's very adult. Dwight says, hey, Grace, I've been with you since Behind the Ink in Superbia. That's my comic book that I wrote. Thanks, Dwight. I love the idea of incorporating comic book stories on live streams when short on movie news. Yes, Dwight, I'll see if I can do that. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll be light on news tomorrow. Let's see. Although I already have 2 stories for tomorrow, potentially. Trisha says, will Letitia Wright continue in Marvel? I thought she did an incredible job in Wakanda Forever. I did too. I'd love to see her continue. She's having a heck of a hard time with the press, though. I feel bad for her. But good for her that she's not taking it. David said, just watched She Said before the stream and it was great. Yes, it's out on digital today. Please watch it. It's crazy to think I used to have to wait to watch awards movies after the Oscars. Now I'm watching months before. The industry has changed so much. Couldn't agree more, David. And also these movies are flopping more than ever before, so they rushed that out to digital. Paul Brunel says, what will be the first billion-dollar movie of 2023? Well, let's see. I'm not sure. I don't have the calendar in front of me. So I'd have to, let me bring it up. It's the hold music. Megan, no. Not Megan. I think Megan will be a hit, though. All right, first $1 billion movie. I don't think it'll be Ant-Man and the Wasp. I don't care what people say. Peyton Reed is miraculously accomplished. Dun, 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 dun. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Oh, it's not looking good. John Wick is the most exciting movie, but that's not going to make $1 billion. This is actually a pretty good question. If I don't get to it in a minute, we're just going to have to say we don't know. Maybe Little Mermaid. Oh, Fast X. Fast X will do it. Never count out Vin Diesel. His point system is not stupid. I actually think his point system makes sense. If I were in a Fast and Furious movie, I'd be like, yeah, make sure we have the same number of points. Thanks, Devin. Marina says, hey, Grace, did you see the first look at Mickey 17, the Bong Joon-ho movie starring Robert Pattinson? I got the press release when I was out running errands yesterday, but I did not see the first look. But I am excited. That's an exciting combination, Bong Joon-ho and Robert Pattinson. He's really good at making himself. He's like Leonardo DiCaprio. He's very smart at getting himself with the right talent. And I do believe he's copying Leonardo DiCaprio's career. So that makes sense. Devin Bennett says, hey, Grace, do you think any of the other Marvel Netflix characters will return in Daredevil Born Again? 18 episodes is a lot, and I'm not sure whether to be excited or nervous. I'm nervous, Devin. I think that Jessica Jones could show up, but I don't believe anybody else would. Anthony says, Grace, did you pre-order the new Scarlet Witch comic? I don't pre-order comics, Anthony. I ordered them the week of, but I will definitely get it. Adil says, where'd that go? Keep skipping ahead on these comments. I'm sorry. Okay, my screening of the menu was ended early due to a technical glitch. We'll probably wait for streaming to see it now. I got a screener for the menu. I don't know if it's going to be good beyond Friday, and I'm going to have to watch The Whale before I vote, but I heard the menu was pretty good. Matt says, hey, Grace, with Amber Heard's role being reduced to just 10 minutes, is there any chance of them recasting? They're not going to recast her. No way, Matt, because that would be a problem in and of itself. I think they just want to release that movie and be done with it. They're like, whew, we're done. The Brendan V says, Grace, thoughts on Brett Goldstein wanting to do Muppets Pride and Prejudice? Oh, that would be hilarious. Is he going to be Mr. Darcy to Miss Piggy? I don't know. But I like Brett Goldstein. I'd watch anything that he's in. He's from Ted Lasso. He's also, of course, the new Hercules if they ever do continue with Thor. Kayla says, as a person of color, I didn't like Black Panther as they turned Shuri into an angry black woman. Kayla, I respect where you're coming from. I think she was dealing with grief, but I can see, I can understand your feeling that that was how it was interpreted, because that is a very hateful stereotype, which, Hollywood should stop feeding. But I hope that Kayla maybe will consider revisiting the movie, because I really do think it's more about grief, and I think she handles it really well. But again, I totally respect your opinion. Alawatch says, is Giancarlo Esposito overexposed? That's an interesting question. I don't think so. I love me some Giancarlo Esposito. I wish his new series, Kaleidoscope, looked better. Devin Bennett says, last night my boyfriend and I rented She Said on iTunes. It was amazing. Oh, I'm glad you watched it. So we have another vote for She Said. I'm telling you, it's a good movie. I don't really know how it's going to do at the Oscars. I don't have high hopes for it. Sharessa Smith says, hi, Grace. Any thoughts on the Critics' Choice Award? Why they snub Evan and Patty? Do you mean the Critics' Choice Awards? And do you mean, who are they snubbing in particular? Lewis says, hi, Grace, did you see the David Bowie documentary Moon Age Daydream? It was such a wonderful tribute to him. I did not, but just the poster and trailer alone were enough to make me tear up during my Guardians of the Galaxy breakdown. Chris Kelly Media says, been watching you for years. Thank you. Quiet fan, but love your work and quality reviews, even when I disagree, which is rare. Look, you just wanted to say happy holidays. Right back to you, Chris Kelly. That's so kind of you. Thank you. Let's see here. Trisha says, how good is Puss in Boots? Is it like The Incredibles? It's like Shrek 2 good. The Brendan V says, also thoughts on Mike Flanagan's new deal with Prime Video. Let's see. I think, he was like, oh, I'm sad they didn't renew the Midnight Club. And you're like, you just left the company. Of course they didn't. Carlos Revelorio says, Grace, thoughts on why there isn't a renewal news yet on Wednesday? Well, as I said on Movie Math on Sunday, I believe they're trying to hammer out those contracts, which are going to be quite lucrative for everybody involved. They all hit a major payday, and good for them. Devin Henderson says, any tea on major changes from Iger? Well, I don't like this headline about who might be the new CEO. This Christine McCarthy. I quite frankly don't totally believe it, but let's see. But I don't like that. I feel like it's not going to be any better. Zay says, Grace, I'm desperate for a Little Mermaid, Little Mermaid tea. I wish I had some for you, Zay. I'm thirsty too. I thought for sure there would be a trailer with Avatar, but it's looking less and less likely. Jay King says, have you seen Tar yet? I really want Michelle Yeoh to win Best Actress, but it seems Cate Blanchett is the frontrunner. I don't want to watch Tar. I heard it was like, I don't know. It doesn't look like a movie for me. I don't want to watch it. I think Michelle Yeoh is still the frontrunner. I think Cate Blanchett's already won an Oscar. I think it'd be ridiculous for her to win again. Lloyd Lester says, Grace, is there awards prospects for Black Panther Wakanda Forever for the 2023 awards season? I voted for it. I mean, I'll release my ballot on Friday after, I have to see The Whale and I have to see Avatar too. So on Friday, I will put out my ballot so you can see who I voted for. And I have a couple of votes for Black Panther for sure. Raphael says, do you think the DC fans want Gunn to keep a bit of rivalry with Marvel, or do you think people would want a truce? It's like sports teams. Everyone wants to see their team doing well. I think what people really want to see is DC back in it, and that it's an honest fight like it used to be. Whelm says, we're here because they forced 30 minutes out of Batman v Superman. The butterfly effect is a funny thing. Where do you think DC would be today if Warner Brothers hadn't blinked and stuck to the plan? Honestly, I still don't think it would have worked out. To be honest with you. I don't think it would have worked out. Because I liked Batman v Superman, but I know the general public did not care for it. So, I think it would have maybe lasted a little bit longer, but I think it would have sputtered out. Oh, look, Zaylin gifted 5 memberships as well. That's so kind of you. Mark says, just wanted to say thank you for keeping me company while I'm sick at home. I'm sorry to hear you're sick, Mark, but it's my absolute pleasure. Caitlin says, hey, Grace, any word on Adam Driver joining the MCU? I know he's met with them, but let's see if he actually gets the gig. Danielle says, my friend and I, both minorities, got a very bad reaction to, do you mean White Lotus season 1? But she says season is better, but I just can't anymore. Are you talking about White Lotus? I'm not quite sure what Black Lotus is. I do feel the lack of characters of color is not great, and I think that's something the show needs to fix for season 3 for sure. Storm King says DC should pick up in the Kingdom Come universe and tell the story in flashbacks while we currently find out about the Trinity. Thoughts? I wouldn't do that. I think you can't tell a good Kingdom Come if you don't have a good base, and there isn't a base. They don't have a base story. See here. Logan says, aside from the growth of streaming, what do you think the long-term changes are that we'll see in the movie theater industry with all these? I think that movie theaters have a real problem, and they have to really work on it. I think they have to work on being a better experience. So many of you have said, and I agree, that it's like you don't know what you're going to get. Is someone going to be on the phone? Is someone going to be talking? I think that phones are the worst thing that's ever happened to movie theaters, because that light really takes you out of the experience. David, I'm not going to watch Tar. My time is valuable, and I don't want to watch that. Matt Parkin says, Grace, where do you recommend I start with DC Comics? I'm a Bat Family fan. Should I go for post-Rebirth in 2016 or something older? Matt, you should read the classics. They're like Batman Year One, The Dark Knight Returns, all that stuff. Go read the classics, Superman for All Seasons. Go read the baseline. Sharisa says, where'd it go? The Critics' Choice. Only Matt Smith for House of the Dragon. I know what you're talking about. Well, I have to tell you, I'm a TV member of Critics' Choice. Critics' Choice is a little bit different in that while we all vote for the movie nominations, there is a committee that does the TV nominations. So I had no vote in that. So I only get to vote for the winners. I did not get to help pick the nominations. But right now I'm like, I think I'm going to vote for Matt Smith in his category because I think he did a really good job. Brett Crandall says, reconservative audience box office numbers. Any thoughts on churches buying out entire theaters for youth groups, causing boosted box office? It's fair. It's totally fair to do. Hollywood really loves school groups. Aloe Watch says, haven't seen Ted Lasso, but since Cameron and Daphne and White Lotus watch it, I might check it out. Love those characters. Ted Lasso's great. Season 2 is a little bit weaker, but it's still quite good. Anna Coastal says, what do you think about The Whale's medium reviews? Could it hurt Sadie Sink's career? She seems to be the critic's main issue. Well, let me see it. I don't think you got to worry about Sadie Sink. She was so good in Stranger Things, she should be okay. Lord Baratheon says, which Marvel movie will do the best in 2023? Let's see. Devin Henderson says, any possibility of James Gunn bringing Guardians of the Galaxy actors over to DC? I think Dave Bautista is for sure going to show up. David Kyle says, Grace, will you be voting for Carey Mulligan as best supporting? No, I don't know. I don't remember. I know I put Angela Bassett down, and I did vote for Andre Brower from She Said for best supporting actor because I thought he was so good in his very small role. But I thought he was great. Let's see here. Chad says, Grace, do you think what's going on in the world possibly stopped the Caucasian audience from showing up at the box office for Black Panther? Well, as I've said in Movie Math, I do feel that audiences are becoming more fragmented and only gravitating towards their own stories. And I think that's really tragic because Hollywood has traditionally broken down barriers by opening people up to other people's experiences. So that's a really bad thing to emerge. Devin Henderson says, do you think Ant-Man's trailer did the best because it's the only movie connected to future stories? Well, also it came out on its own, while these other trailers all came out in a clump. I wish Hollywood would stop releasing trailers in a clump. It's a bad idea. All right, so I'm way over my time. Let me do some shout outs. I just love talking to you guys. I can't help myself. What's going on? There will be a stream tomorrow as well. Streams are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And if I miss a day, then we'll do a Thursday or Friday stream. But I try and do 3 streams a week. So just tell me what you're up to so I can say hi. That's what I'm looking for. Trisha says, eating Whole Foods mac and cheese. That's pretty delicious stuff, I gotta say. Jay Got Milk says, I'm on my lunch break at work in Oakland, California. Excellent. What a cute picture. You look great. D. Brett Hansen says, getting ready for work, holiday party. Gotta go, but love the stream. Oh, have a great time. Holiday parties are fun. Steve Music says, in the recording studio on break. Oh, that's pretty cool. I'm glad to be in there with you. Caden says, goodbye, Grace. Gotta go now. We'll be watching She Said tonight. Oh, have fun, Caden. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And please tweet me your thoughts on it. I get a lot of tweets. I hope I see the tweet. But I would you try DMing me. Sometimes it's hard for me to see something. Make sure you do it during waking hours in the East Coast. Will R says, tacos in Oklahoma, not going to work overtime tonight. No, sir. That's great. Taco Tuesday. Keith says, eating dinner and playing Gotham Knights. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying that. I saw that didn't get the best reviews. Lewis Crickmore said, just finished all the Scream films for the first time. 4 and 5 were my favorite, with the opening of the first one, too, of course. That's interesting. I've never seen 4. I got to get on 4. Chad Parker, hey CJ, said, just finished my last call for work, about to relax for the night in a rainy New York City. Gonna have a soup and sandwich for dinner. Oh, there's Marvel, your dog Marvel. I had soup and salad last night. It was delicious. Jay King is also eating Whole Foods mac and cheese. Ah, I love it. We're so far apart, yet also so close together. Mandy C says, about to head to my first, where'd that go? My first small holiday gathering in Minneapolis. Oh, that sounds cozy, Mandy. I hope you have a good time. Morrow says, about to be a social person. Yikes. You know, I sometimes have that same problem. My advice to you is just force yourself to go up. And you know what? Also, if you're not feeling a conversation, just excuse yourself. You know, there's nothing wrong with being the first out of there. Nothing wrong with being like, you know what, the social interaction isn't working. Just say, I got to go to the bathroom, or I'm going to go get a snack from the food table. And also, this is the best social advice someone ever gave me. Don't be afraid of the silence, and don't be afraid to be alone. Confidence is the coolest thing you could do. You can go stand by that snack table by yourself, and as long as you're cool with it, you're going to be an awesome person. Dana O'Leary says, roasting a chicken and root vegetables in sherry in North Virginia. Oh, Dane, that's pretty advanced. I like it. Let's see here. Mahul says, I'm in bed about to go to sleep after the stream. Thank you for staying up. Let's see here. Oh, CJ, don't watch Amsterdam. You're going to regret it. Rashad said, loving this live stream and about to rewatch Wednesday before work because it's just that good. I would agree with that. Wednesday is really, really good. Salim said, just saw Nope, loved it. Nope is so good. Ah, so good. Jico said, just finished shoveling the driveway in cold weather. Ah, you're a good son or family member, Jico, or house member. I'm glad you liked my advice, guys. I hope that was helpful to somebody. Brett says, working on puppet version of Good King Wenceslas. Ah, Brett, you are a puppeteer. I love it. Even Michael McKennis is impressed. Let's see here. Bentz Varag is getting ready to go to sleep in Hungary. Thanks for staying up. Matt, hey, Matt. You're having coffee and brownie at work. Wow, that's pretty good. David C. says, chilling at home, waiting for Bones and All to come on the 16th. Been a fan of Taylor Russell since Lost in Space. Hopefully she gets an Oscar nomination. Yeah, she was really good on that show. I loved Lost in Space. And Bell Trailer says, heading out for some last-minute Christmas presents. Oh, you're getting your shopping done early. You're getting your shopping done early. And Bobby Case is playing Fortnite in Manchester, UK. Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Gigi. I hope you see my super chat later. Gigi, did I miss your super chat? Let me go back and find it. Oh, yeah. Just stopped by to say hi. The end of the year is so slow. I hope at least I had all the movies available here in Brazil to watch at the theater. I would even watch Tar. I really wanted Knives Out too. Oh, Gigi, I hope you get that. And then, let's see here. David says, saving up, she said, for Friday. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Oh, yes. And then Anthony, so happy to be a member. Love your... Oh, I'm happy you're a member too, Anthony. I'm sorry I missed these. Gigi, you're a hero. You saved everybody's comments here. Okay, I got all that. All right, good. Excellent. Dane says, thanks for all your hard work. Hope your holidays are extraordinary. Ah, we still have 2 weeks to go. It feels like it's Christmas tomorrow because things are so slow. But no, we still have 2 weeks till Christmas. It's crazy. And Mandela Butterfly says, watching Wednesday on a Tuesday. How poetic. I love it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around. I had a lovely time with you as always, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next stream. Bye. Toodles. Toodaloo.